Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, second video of the day, and you know it, when we record a second video, it's because there is something important to share. And this time it's a good news, finally, hallelujah, a good news, Koopmeiners is back. Mamma mia, I couldn't wait for that news. Confirmed by Thiago Motta in press conference, by the way, that's what we will do, we'll go through the words of Thiago in press conference, that's the video, that's why we are recording, not only Koopmeiners, but he said it, and then we saw it also confirmed by himself, by Teun on Instagram, with him in his left hand in the sky, a finger there, and then that emoji with the two eyes to say ik ben terug in Dutch, which means I am back. Super important news. Now I will tell you immediately, not that I'm counting on Teun to be decisive tomorrow against Parma, not that I'm counting on him to be in the starters, even if Thiago he left that door open. Tomorrow he could possibly start, he could be starting on the bench, starting on the field, or maybe just being there physically with us. Well, I'm not believing that much that Teun will start the game of tomorrow. We have the lineup, the predicted one that I will show you at the end of the video, but it's important for the next games because at the moment we are not resting and we are playing every 3 games. After Parma there is Udinese away from home, and Udinese that is doing really well in Serie A, in the beginning of Serie A. Then there is Lille in Champions League, and then Torino, Derby della Mole. So having him physically there means that he's really on the way of being back at 100%. And he will be extremely important for the next games, especially for the rotations, in that role where we are really missing Koopmeiners and Juve, we play in one way. Juventus without Koopmeiners, we are playing another way, with some players that are adapted in that role. We tried with Douglas Luiz before the injury, we tried with Fagioli, we have sometimes to play Kenanil is there, even if at the moment it's not really playing that position, except of the beginning of the season with Como, Verona, and the first half against Roma. Well, having him there physically is super important, good news for rotation, and then because he's a key player for us. Our AAA objective, long time ago that I didn't say that word. So I'm happy about that. And then I tell you, injuries are the worst thing in football. I always said it. I'm not happy when I hear that some players are injured. Yesterday I watched, for example, on Le Ballon d'Or, Rodri going like that with his crutches on the podium. It was really sad to see. But any player, I prefer to have, I always said it, 11 against 11, 16 against 16, the best possible team. Because then at the end of the season you said, okay, who was really the best one? Who played the best football? Who was performing the best? Who actually made the less mistakes? But to do that, in order to check that, you need to have your players at disposal. Look, we have a huge injury, Bremer. It's part of the game, it's always sad. Look at the post on Instagram from Arek Milik that said in Italian, quanto cazzo mi manca tutto ciò. Fuck, I miss all of that. He didn't translate it like that in English, because in English he was a bit more polite, saying, missing the game. I can't wait to be back. Look, Arek Milik, I think that he would have been extremely important for Juventus in that beginning of the season. Because at the moment, we know it, Vlahovic is playing every single game. Every single game from the start. Would he need a bit of rest? I'm not sure if he needs a bit of rest today, but at a certain moment, accumulating all these minutes, it's possible that towards the middle, towards the 3/4, towards the end of Serie A, he will be totally drained out. So we need to find a way to let him rest. This morning, Sky Sport was speaking about the possibility to have him on the bench, him and Fagioli, with Kenanil as a number 9. You never know with Thiago. Because today in press conference he didn't reveal any starting players, so everything can happen. But having Milik would have been really, really good. And I tell you, you can like Milik, you can dislike Milik, you can like or dislike the way that he's playing, but he's suffering. He's really suffering staying away from the field, and that's really a pity. Anyway, what about the words of Thiago Motta in press conference? There was a question of Giovanni Albanese that tried the trick. A lot of supporters, a lot of tifosi are asking themselves, where Thiago Motta is interrupting him immediately. He said, no, not the tifosi. Not the tifosi. Don't take the excuse the tifosi are asking. Ask the question in your name. It was funny. It was a funny moment. On the other side, I think that Giovanni did really well. I liked actually that he spoke in the name of the Tifosi, because this is really what the Tifosi are asking themselves today. When you are going on social media, all the Tifosi, all the supporters are asking about the Danilo Gatti situation, especially about Gatti. Why is he not playing recently? So the question of Giovanni was, What about that situation? Is it because of misunderstanding? Is it because of injury? Is it because there was a fight between both of you? Where Thiago Motta said, no, there is no misunderstanding. There is not even a decrease in training session. There are my choices. All the players that we have at the moment, they are important. Everyone is important and we need everyone. Gatti, when he was playing, did really well, and now maybe tomorrow there will be something else. We don't know, we will see. So he avoided really that situation of what we were hearing, what we were reading about all these rumors between a fight between both of them. Other questions from Giovanni Guardalà from Sky Sport that said, what about Dusan Vlahovic resting? And that's where Sky Sport changed that formation that we'll see later. He said, when he will rest, we will see if another player will play. What player it will be depends on the opponents, what characteristic that we need in the game that we will play when the moment will be that Dusan Vlahovic will rest. Then he said, if that moment arrives. So at the moment he's not really saying that Dusan Vlahovic need some rest. He's saying if there will be that moment at a certain moment, he will rest, and the player that will play in front between Bangula, Weah, Kenan Yildiz, it depends also on the opponent and what we need. So avoiding totally, and that's why I think that the experts, the papers are starting again Dusan Vlahovic, that this morning was a doubt of starting the game against Parma today. Of course, I have a question. If Dusan needs to rest, would you rest him against Parma? Or would you rest him the next game against Udinese? Let me know in the comment section, I'm curious. Question from Tuttosport. What about the penalties? What about the red cards? And that's something that he said we must improve on that one because it's not normal. We need and we must finish the games 11 against 11 and avoiding all the penalties that we are doing. On that one, I totally agree. I think that we all agree. It's not normal to have already 5 penalty against. It's not normal that every single game we need to finish the games with 10 men. Di Gregorio, Danilo, I don't even remember who, Conceição. It's too much. It's way too much. Even if that Conceição red card, we could open something. He said also about the game against Inter, the first 15 minutes of the second half were not good. Were not managed well by Juventus. I totally agree with him. He said there are moments of the game where the opponent will do a bit better, where you will suffer a bit more. These moments in every game, they happen. The thing is that they cannot last that long. It's impossible that they last 15 minutes. And that's what I told you. At a certain moment, we're closer to the 5-2 than to the 4-3. Because that moment was really too long. So 15 minutes when we come back from the locker room that were absolutely not good. And we need to avoid these kind of things. What about Milan-Napoli? He said, I will not watch it. He said, I have family time. My family is here. I will stay with them. I will not watch the game. Why? Because Napoli, we already played against them. Because Milan, we have time before playing against them, so I will not watch the game. Is he lying or not? I don't know. That was a question from a journalist speaking about Cabal. Spoke about Cabal, asked about Cabal. He actually didn't want to go towards one single player, but went more general about all the players that are doing well at the moment. So he didn't speak that much, even if I really want to praise and award Cabal for the games that he's doing since he came back from that second international break from Colombia. So what is the starting line, a predicted one from Sky Sport after the press conference? Perin in the goal. Could be that Perin plays, because we know that after that we have I don't know why they put Perin. Usually Perin is playing before the Champions League game, so it could be that Perin is playing against Udinese. On the other side, it could be that Perin plays against Parma, and then we have in the weekend Di Gregorio. Anyway, I'm safe with Perin or with Di Gregorio. I'm safe with both of them. Savona on the right side, Gatti and Kalulu center backs. This is, I think, what all the supporters want. Cambiaso on the left. Then in the middle, Thuram, Locatelli in front of the defense with Conceição on the right, McKennie as a number 10, and Yildiz on the left side of the field with on top Dusan Vlahovic. This is at the moment, if you are looking at the players that are available, I think one of really the best one. The only thing that could possibly change is Cambiaso on the right side with Cabal on the left. But it's true that Cabal played a lot of these games, so maybe a bit of rotation. Looking at the weekend of Udinese, that it's really an important game. Could be. Let me know what you think about that lineup. I'm not sure if I will edit the video. I don't think that I will edit the video. And then I finish with one thing about the words of Weah, not Timo, but Papa, George. Because this morning I spoke about the Ballon d'Or, and I totally forgot to say it, but it was something that made me extremely emotional. I was actually according to me, the most beautiful thing from the Ballon d'Or. When George Weah is going there on top of the podium, speaking, extremely emotional, speaking also about Harry Kane. And then in 11 seconds, I think he has the record of saying the word Juventus the most. 4 times he said Juventus in 11 seconds, saying, "When I was a kid, I watched Juventus play a lot because of Platini. I loved Juventus, but I never played at Juventus. Today, I'm glad my son is playing at Juventus." 4 times, Juventus in 11 seconds. And you saw in his eyes that he was so sincere. We are speaking about a legend, an icon of Milan. An icon of Milan is speaking that well about Juventus, not even mentioning Milan, was really, really beautiful and emotional for me, because Juventus is Juventus. And having George Weah that is speaking that well about our Bianconeri, I'm happy. Guys, learn from George Weah that is speaking that well about our beloved Juventus. That's how we need to speak about Juve, with hearts in our eyes. Put a maximum of like. If you haven't yet, please continue to subscribe. Grazie, forza, Juve.